Welcome, everybody. Because my life is finally coming to a calm period. I had my eye doctor exam yesterday, 2 days ago. I had my injection 2 days ago. I was last at the dentist 2 years ago, but I've been taking care of my teeth. I've been flossing, mouthwash, brushing gentle circles thoroughly once a day. Uh, I've been managing my diet and my exercise. I take 5,000 steps a day as I'm pacing. I measured it on my Fitbit. And I do some stretching. I trim my nails and my toenails. I bought a comb recently so I can comb my hair. And I have my dumbbell, which I do my pumping with. I go for walks. I love the snow. I love walking in the snow. I just went for a walk in the snow, cleaning the snow with my father. Sometimes I haven't been in a while, but I will go again, walks to the coffee store to get breakfast. But the reason I don't do it now is because I'm saving money. Um, and and finally, I can get some little peace because everything that I was hustling to do, I kind of already did it. So like music, what I made hundreds of videos on YouTube and 500 songs production videos. I made 2 channels, thousands of videos. I made organization. I made all my documents. I made engineering documents. I made scripts. I made stories. I made science research. I played a whole bunch of chess, whole bunch of video games, sports, driving the car, making my notes and my documents and my all sorts of documents. And what I tried to do was document everything. So I got everything organized in my Google Drive, my chess history, my OneDrive, even my adult content organized onto the correct website. My videos organized, my music organized, my social media, multiple social media channels organized, my Twitter. So I try to document and organize everything, and I feel I've achieved a good component of that. The only part that's really missing a lot of components are the earlier stuff from my early 20s, and I have nothing from my teenage years except for my childhood photos, which I got on Polaroid. Well, that's enough. But for my like early 20s and stuff, when I was playing sports, so when I was playing because I was playing a ton, I got a decent amount of my sports and my capabilities documented on video. But I was also playing a ton of hockey and soccer, whether pickup, whether official, whether on teams, competitive teams, whether training. And I didn't really record it at the time. Maybe I should have, because I wasn't into that sort of stuff. I was only basically recording my guitar and stuff like that. So I recorded a little bit, but I didn't record dedicated, like going to the field, bringing the camera and recording myself. I did it a little bit, just a little bit. I recorded one of my Canadian Soccer League games. So there's a little bit. So I'm satisfied with the sports and the music, and everything is kind of documented. And even my autobiography, I documented. How many pages is this? 16 pages. I got my early years, right? Since I was born, I got bullet point notes, and that goes on for 8 pages, just about 9 pages. And then my UFT bullet point notes goes on for another 4 pages. And then everything since, so that's 12 pages total from being born, childhood, to 2020s when I became more like successful and graduated. I graduated in April 2020. And then so that's 12 pages of notes on that. And then from 2020 onwards, I got 1, 2, 3 pages. So total 15 pages. And I even have like my photo albums organized. So my travel, my stocks, my family, my pets, my weight and figure and image, and I have that documented as well. I'm gonna take my blood tests, my eye doctor, my dentist if I have to, my mental health psychiatrist meetings, my medication, my injections. So I'm keeping up with my health. Manage my diet, try and get all my omega-3s, my protein, my fiber, my water, my vitamin C, my vitamin A, D, calcium, E, B, vitamin C, fiber, iron, antioxidants, omega-3s from fish and eggs, and butter, essential fatty acids from butter and beef, calcium and vitamin A and D from milk and cheeses, iron from meat and cereal, supplements from cereals that are fortified, antioxidants from blueberries and fruits, fibers from anywhere I can get fibers from, proteins, and not really snacking. These are basically the only snacks I take. And portion control. I made a lot of videos on how to eat. So what you eat, why you eat, when you eat, how you eat, and where you eat. And it's like you don't always need food. You can live your life regardless of snacking or whatever. And when you are hungry, you eat a dedicated full traditional meal, which is like some pasta, some beef, some chicken, some vegetables, some fruits, and then to digest a complete meal or to go a little bit of time in between meals, you can have a little bit of snacks like chips or cookies or sugars, especially. That's when you have your sugars to not keep you from crashing. And then you have your caffeine, your green tea, your coffee, stuff like that. But I have this when I'm digesting food or to go in between after meals a long time to keep my blood sugar up. So I actually have this in a healthy way. I don't overdo it. I drink one a day, and it's good because it has 38 grams of sugar, and that's exactly what I want because I don't get my sugar from anywhere else other than some fruits. So to keep me from not crashing and to help me be mentally acute, I just get this. It's got the caffeine, it's got the sugar, and I get the original flavor because it has less artificial crap than the zero flavor. And I want the calories. Same when I was exercising. How did I lose my weight? I went to the gym, lowered my medications, but even if you have high medications, still went to the gym, exercised, played sports. And to do all that, I had to drink Gatorade to help me keep going when I was exercising. And I would buy the Gatorade full sugar. So you got Gatorade 150 grams of sugar, G2, which is new, which is 50 grams of sugar, and G0, 0 grams of sugar. If you eat the 0 grams of sugar, you might as well kill yourself. You're just going to pass out when you're working out and playing sports with the 0 calories drinks. 50 calories drinks, you're still basically going to pass out. So I get the full traditional 150 calorie drink. And that's why I lost my weight. People be like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to lose weight. They're like, why the fuck are you drinking that then? And I even tell them it's the full calorie content. But I lost the weight drinking every single exercise, 1 a day or 2 a day. Full calorie, 150 grams calories and sugars and electrolytes, the Gatorade. Because that gives me energy to keep going and to not let me pass out if I finish my workout and I come home, I drink my juice, and I'm so damn tired, I just pass out and fall asleep. Whereas if I drink my Gatorade sugar, I have a little bit more energy. I can unpack my bag. I can quick change of clothes before I lie down. I can have energy to prepare a little meal. You get a little extra boost of energy. And basically, when you're eating, you want to eat with your stomach, your gut, and not your mouth, because your mouth is always salivating, but your gut tells you when you're hungry and when you're not. So you eat a full meal. For me, it's only 1 to 2 meals a day. But for younger people, it's like 3 or 4 or 5 meals a day. For me, it's just 1 or 2 now. And some snacks in between. And like I said, trying to get all the variety of macronutrients, antioxidants, micronutrients, eggs, omega-3s, your vitamins, your antioxidants, your calcium, iron, vitamin B, C, A, D, E, calcium, iron, B, fiber, water. So you got your foods, and you manage you brush your teeth, you do your hair, your nails, you exercise a bit. And that all mainly sticks to me because I've always been an athlete. And the way of progressing my body forwards and always building a stronger, healthier body and being ahead of others in terms of my physical condition and giving me a physical advantage has always been a priority of mine because I was an athlete my entire life. So let's get into that with my autobiography. When I was a kid and I went to daycare, this is where it all started. And where I get my confidence from. When I was a kid and I went to daycare, we had a Nintendo 64. We had soccer balls, basketballs, sports stuff. You have your schoolwork. So you got your video games, your schoolwork, your physical stuff. We played tag, we played whatever. And you got your DJ box, your music box. You got your lunchtime, you got your friends, you got your TV, you got your activities, your plays, your shows, your festivals, your Christmases. And basically, for me, it was like a competition. When I was in the daycare, I was comparing myself who was the best. And I was generally the best. I had one rival who wasn't really competing. I would always follow him around because he was this black kid. And I would always follow him around. I generally followed around the coolest kids. I just followed them. And he was the only one that complained, like he wasn't trying to compete or anything. So he complained to the teacher that I keep following him. But I just wanted to be his friend. That's why I followed him. And the teacher was like, stop following him. And it's because he was the only one that beat me at video games when we played. When we did the racing, so the entire class raced to the fence and back, he was the only one that beat me in the race. So he beat me in the race. He beat me in the video games. And then when we played soccer, I beat him there. So I beat him in the soccer. He beat me in the race. He beat me in the video games. But we played like soccer. We played video games. We did, and when we made arts and crafts and stuff like that, I always compared what I made to what he made. He was the only one that was better than me. But as time went along, I probably got better. And so then, like, I realized out of everyone else, though, the entire generations, I was the best, the fastest, the best at video games, the smartest, the best at chess and board games when we played. The best at doing my homework and getting good grades and math and science and music as well, playing the musical instruments later. We didn't start off playing musical instruments at that age, but later I started playing the piano and the guitar and playing sports outside of daycare that we started at that age. I played hockey and soccer, and I was prided myself, and I told stories to the other kids how I played hockey and soccer and what I did in the games outside of daycare. And because we had all these activities, and that's where I got my confidence from, that I was the best at daycare, which means like right when I was born, I had natural talent. And then as we went into middle school and high school and elementary school and university and whatever, a lot of my confidence came from I was better than a majority of these kids at these competitions. So I was very competitive. I'm very competitive. Physical, sports, video games, science, school, IQ, and whatever. So it all started with the video game, with the daycare. And then my grandparents flew over from Serbia, visited me at the daycare. My parents came to pick me up in the car, and it was a fun time. After daycare at elementary school, which I don't remember too much about. I remember more from daycare than I do from elementary school. Elementary school, it was like, my parents would drop me off at the daycare in the mornings, and the daycare would take me to the elementary school. And after class, the daycare would pick us up from the elementary school in the bus, drive us to the daycare, and then we'd hang out in the daycare for 2 more hours, 3 more hours, until our parents finished work and came to pick us up. And I still remember more times from what we spent in the daycare when I was in elementary school, in the morning and after, and at lunchtime as well. Then the actual elementary school. I just remember hanging out with the kids and cute girls and playing sports, and mainly I remember my own childhood home, going for my bike rides, running 20 laps around the block for soccer, going to hockey, working out, watching the World Cup, watching sports, playing sports games on my PlayStation 1, playing with my neighbor, playing Pokemon Gold, playing Nintendo 64 with his older brothers, and riding my bike around the block and playing Legend of Dragoon, 24-hour storyline, 40-hour storyline, 4 discs, and playing Battlefield, Warcraft on the PC, a dial-up PC, trying to play video games, and smashing the computer when it freezes, but competing for the top score, Counter-Strike. So 12 years old, competing for Counter-Strike, Warcraft 3, and Battlefield, the top scores. Those video games, going to ice hockey, being assistant captain, going to soccer, winning the championships, Ottawa tournaments, being the best team in the entire province. And so I remember hockey, soccer, my video games, and being friends with people at school, middle school. So being friends, traveling to Serbia. And this is when I was very friendly. I had a lot of friends. No girls, though. Well, there were some girls, but mainly just guys in Serbia, messing around, playing war games, playing video games, playing sports. We would go to the bar, loser pays for the court. And or buys, we didn't buy beer, but buys Sundays and whatever. So we played sports. We went to the clubs. We went out at nighttime. We went to the beaches. We went to the parties. And I saw some Champions League soccer games with tickets my uncle bought me. And I went to historical locations across Serbia, and mainly just hanging out with the kids, playing soccer, basketball, celebrations, playing war games, playing video games. We had some video game consoles, or with computers, we set up LAN parties, or we'd go to the video arcade, pay your 100 dinara. It's like $2 you pay for an hour. $3 you pay for 2 hours. And we just play in the video arcade. And we would always compete with each other. And there would be like 6 of us. We'd actually play 3-on-3. And we'd play Counter-Strike and Dota, Warcraft 3, Dota. So that was when we went to Serbia. And in Canada, I did the same thing. And then Canada also had my play dates. So I had my play dates with my friends where we played Star Wars. We watched Star Wars. Made popcorn, had sleepovers, played video games, played sports. So my play dates were very nice as well, hanging out, because we also played outside of there. We played sports and stuff like that. So I was very competitive and loved sports and video games and just horsing around in movies and horsing around with the kids. And that was my middle school and my elementary school. Then high school came around. I got my German Shepherd. In high school. We moved to a better location. So so I could be with my like old friends, which were like the white generation. There were black people too, but it was mainly like a whiter area. My middle school was more multicultural and more underfunded. So we moved to a better location because there was less crime and less problems and more opportunities. So we moved there, and I had a German Shepherd, and basically every single lunch my friends came over and we played video games. We played Xbox, so we played Halo 1 and Halo 2, and EA Sports, NBA, and hockey. So NBA and hockey we played, and Halo 1 and Halo 2, and then I got an N64 and we played Super Smash Bros. As well. Obviously there was lagging, freezing, didn't work and whatever, but we eventually got games running and we would talk and hang out, and we played every single day throughout high school. And they played football, I played soccer and hockey, and other than that, I have met some friends also in the intellectual computer programming class. So I was in the advanced placement math class and played sports at lunchtime, sometimes at school as well. Gym class, I took all 4 years. I took gym class. I love playing sports. The only thing I didn't really like was the pool and the swimming because it was cold, and I didn't like swimming. But the soccer, basketball, whatever. And then I also played pickup sports. So there was 2 subway stops. There was a soccer field where we played pickup soccer all day long on the weekends. And at my own high school, we had a soccer field that would train and play there. And we had a hockey rink. We have a hockey rink. So I played every single day I was at the hockey rink, especially when it was winter break. I'll go with my friends sometimes and just play pickup. Who's ever there, the 18-year-olds, the 22-year-olds, the junior A players. I would play with them all, and I was very good. So hockey, I spent so much time throughout my teens playing hockey. And that was my high school. And then university. Oh, and I did stuff like bringing, because I lived right across the school. So I had 80 absences and 80 lates when I didn't want to go and I came late. And I would bring like a pizza or food to school or whatever. So I was notorious for that as well. And then my jobs, I was a skating rink marshal. I worked at my mom's software company. So skating rink, I would help people who fell down, and people would start falling down on purpose and stuff like that. They needed me to tie their skates. I don't know. I had an office job at my mom's software company where I took my colleagues, my university students my age, for lunch walks and going to my house and playing video games yet again, and going on Messenger. They would separate us throughout the office, but we installed Messenger and we just message each other and make drawings and make song recommendations. And I would bring a book and read, and my friend would watch video games. And so it was a fun time at the office. And I also had a security guard job where I worked at concerts and sports events downtown. And it was hectic. And I took a bribe to let a person into the wrong gate. And I stopped the performer in the peacock outfit, and she swore at me. And I watched the sports TFC and the Toronto Marlies from courtside for free, and walking through the crowds and the VIP sections and backstage at concerts like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber. So the security guard job was fun. And then I played in the Canadian Soccer League. Yeah. Some more video games, some more guitar, some more music. In school, I did stocks and finance and more sports as well at the university. I was there for 11 years. It was educational, but I hung out with a lot of friends that were more athletic, and went to the stock club, the poker club, and we also talked sports there as well. We were sports fans. I also played on the, so the engineering sports are very competitive. a lot of engineers are athletes. Like engineering beats the St. Mike's. So St. Mike's is like sports. And we faced them in the finals all the time for hockey and soccer, and we beat them. I was on the team that beat them. And it was generally my contribution. Like, I'm an offensive player, but when we played soccer against them, they had the guy who scored 8 goals, like a game, whatever. So I just played defense and I shadowed him the entire game. It was 0-0. We got a penalty shot and won 1-0. And it's because I stopped that guy from scoring any goals. And hockey, we won as well. And then I played tri-campus hockey, which was, it's 55,000 students. And tri-camp, there's 3 campuses, downtown, east, west. And you can represent your campus. So there's 2 downtown teams, 1 east, 1 west, in soccer and hockey. So I played soccer and hockey, both of them tri-campus. And then I was selected as an all-star as the best tri-campus team to face other universities. So the best intramurals team, extramurals team, and obviously had former varsity players by the bushel. So semi-professional and varsity and scouts and whatever to face each other from other universities, and I played there as well. But I didn't officially play varsity, which pissed me off for a long time because I was definitely good enough to play varsity, especially because then I played in the Canadian Soccer League, and I had complete requisites to play varsity. But despite my countless times of trying out, I never managed to play varsity. And then I had my issues with my mental health. So everyone knows about that. My side effects, my symptoms, my sleeping 4 hours a night. That's why my school took 11 years, because I did it part-time, 1 to 2 classes a semester. But then I was very active. I was the leader of my team group projects and my extracurricular student activities, and being kicked out of a lab via an email and then coming back and getting perfect on the next lab. And so, yeah. And then graduating. And then I had the stuff like the cheating allegations. So when 90% of the class cheated, and I was the only person to admit by an email that I cheated on 1 question only. And he's like, I'm the guy he didn't catch. So, and I'm the only person that confessed throughout the whole grade. And then when I was struggling mental health and I needed 3% in 1 course out of 5 to pass the entire semester or I'd fail, and I went to every single professor, and one guy finally gave me, the last guy gave me 3% in 1 course, and I passed the semester. That was when I had mental health. But first year I was on the dean's list. I had 90, I had 80s, and I had 60 in electrical engineering, and I was general engineering. And I picked electrical to go into, even though I had 90s and 80s in mechanical, civil, and chemical. But I picked electrical to be like Tesla and to be very high tech. And I had 60 in there. And then all my marks went down to 60. But eventually, later, when I got mentally better, I had a 90 again in microwave circuits, which is the most, people say that's the most difficult course in all of undergrad electrical engineering. Microwave circuits. It's only 8 undergrads and then 12 graduate students. And out of all of them, I got 91 or 92 or 93 or 90 on microwave circuits. And then I started trying to invest and play poker with my inheritance and my savings when I graduated. And then after 2020, when I graduated, I had stuff like the CIA following me. So the dentist cutting holes in my tongue and teeth, injections crazy, the airplane losing my luggage and doing crazy ass stuff in the air, my parents' tire falling off their car right after the mechanic appointments, the dishwasher breaking and spilling all into my artwork, my artworks colored over, my songs and videos and whatever, editing, and my uploads, editing on social media and whatever, breaking my tailbone, all my doctor's appointments, Starbucks people treating me different ways, people in real life treating me different ways, using bear spray to spray my deodorant, which I haven't recovered from, some sort of bear spray was that made my arms like sting the entire time. And then walking to Starbucks to breakfast each day, breaking my tailbone, playing sports, playing pickup soccer with the Serbians and the Canadians and the Portuguese inside indoor soccer, and also playing. I played in my university years. I played in Canadian Soccer League, and I played in Serbian groups at the stadium to play pickup soccer. But then I did all my work, which is all documented, my songs, my videos, my documents, right? And that's it. Now I got to poop myself. And I washed the car. Now we're selling the car and went to stuff like that. So stay classy. Look for the film in the future. And it was a good time. And kick it real. New York.